I think the exhibition is it's predominantly white paintings, but you know it's held together in two parts because the title of the show is In Two. Everything has been made in two ways. The watercolours have been made with two colours placed on top of one another and then dissolved to make one colour. The panels, there's the panel itself, there's a colour underneath each colour, so there's always two elements in the show. I'm known for taking paint off, unpainting, as people call it, but to me it's an additive thing. It started off very early on with the early work where I wanted to create an object. I wanted a painting to have its own intrinsic history. It'd be very simple to take a canvas, put a bit of tape down it, paint one half white with that silky quality you're talking with oil paint, and just leave the other one white. It would be dead. There needs to be something wrong about it. It gives history to the work, but also gives history to the viewer, that it was black, it was made white, one half was retained black, and I wait until the black is almost dry, then I put a solid white across the whole canvas, and I follow the same division again. So the black seeps into the thick white, it just bleeds enough, but you have the residue of the black on the other side on the white. So it gives it space again, and it gives it its own internal space. So it's, again, from something that appears very simple, it's quite complex in its construction. And I like it when the works start to become complex. Only when people paused and took time to look at the work, they actually saw the painting was quite complex. So it's actually asking the question, that getting people to pause and look just a little bit harder, which is really important for me. I always start with how a painting is going to feel. It's not how it's going to look. With all my work, in this panel here, there's a slight curve in it. With the exposed paintings, there's a line through the painting, and it's a word that I would use, a Scottish word. Everything is slightly off kilter. It's not quite right. So making something that appears geometric or appears quite minimal is actually very complex because it retains a fragility. And I guess in everything that I make in the studio or I exhibit, I like the idea that they're not quite right. They retain a kind of human fragility. Well, that's what I'm trying to achieve in it. It's not for me to say that, but I like the idea that they're wrong. So when you find a line through my painting, it's never straight. It's always slightly oblique or slightly off, and they're always made by hand. Orange has been very prevalent in my work for many years, and the show needed to be twisted. It needed a bit of colour. It pulls you to the back of the space. It carries you through the show. It takes you through the show.